What up, though? Welcome back to I Think 313. In today's video, we're going to discuss why Donald Trump is the lead Republican presidential candidate for the 2024 presidential election. Regardless of whether you're a Trump supporter or not, it would be naive to ignore the fact that he is a force to be reckoned with in the political world. So let's dive in and take a closer look at why he is such a strong chance of winning the Republican nomination in 2024. First and foremost, we must consider the wave of Republican officials that support Donald Trump. The former president has a significant amount of support for politicians in the Republican Party. He got clout. Many Republican lawmakers have already backed Trump as the party's presidential nominee in 2024. Senators such as Ted Cruz, Mark Rubio, and Lindsey Graham have all expressed their support for Trump. Additionally, a recent report from Politico indicated that up to 90%, yes, 90% of Republican voters still support Donald Trump. Secondly, Trump has a solid base of supporters who are fiercely dedicated to him. These supporters are organized, passionate, and have proven themselves to be reliable voters in both the 2016 and 2020 presidential elections. According to a recent poll conducted by NBC News, nearly 75% of Trump supporters believe in his ability to return as the president in 2024. Cannot count this man out. The former president's base is also likely to remain loyal. Their enthusiasm could be a motivating factor. Trump supporters to come out in large numbers if he chooses to run. Thirdly, Donald Trump is known for his political rallies that draw large crowds. He packs the house. These rallies have a significant impact on both his base and the media's attention. He often uses these rallies to deliver a message directly to his supporters, rallying them to vote in the upcoming elections. With a solid lineup of events, Trump will get the opportunity to tell his supporters about his future agenda and generate buzz around his campaign. Fourthly, Trump is the only Republican candidate thus far who possesses the kind of name recognition that is required to win the presidential election. He has already established himself as a powerful force in the political world, and nearly everyone who votes remembers his name and brand. This benefit potentially puts him far ahead of other potential Republican candidates. As a result, his ability to promote his platforms and policies will be much easier than the other candidates. Trump already has clout. All the other candidates are still clout chasing. Moreover, Trump's political experience gives him an upper hand when it comes to navigating the political landscape by having established connections with politicians on Capitol Hill and other influential people in the media world. He has proven time and time again that he will do whatever it takes to win. Plus, his status as a former president will undoubtedly give him more authority over any other potential presidential candidate that he will face in the 2024 election. Lastly, Trump is a master of the media landscape. He knows how to get clicks, generate headlines, and remain newsworthy. His supporters never hesitate to spread his message on social media platforms. They will troll you. That makes him the ideal candidate to steal the spotlight from the Democratic frontrunner. Trump is expected to continue to criticize the current administration and the Democratic Party, which can captivate the attention and increase his media coverage. It is essential to acknowledge that there are still several uncertainties surrounding the 2024 election. However, the chances of Donald Trump being the lead Republican presidential candidate seem to be high. From his widespread support among Republican politicians, his formidable base of enthusiasts, his political experience and networking skills, and his ability to grab media attention and constantly stay in the headlines, it's very challenging to dismiss him. You can't really do that. Will he have what it takes to win the presidential race once again? Only time will tell. One thing to consider when discussing Trump's chances in the 2024 election is the recent disqualification of his candidacy in Colorado. Some people say they're hating on him. the state's election official announced that the former president would not be allowed to participate in the presidential election in that state due to an election law that requires candidates to disclose their tax returns. They want to know about them tax returns. They've been on his head about that. The state of Colorado is not alone in requiring candidates to release their tax returns. But this decision may have an impact on how Trump approaches his campaign. He's going to have to step it up. Trump has refused to release his tax returns despite calls from his critics and Democrats for years. And while he has not faced any legal consequences for his refusal, his exclusion from the ballot in Colorado could set a precedent for other states to similarly disqualify him. And that could be big. I don't think he really wants that type of fight. This move has sparked controversy on both sides of the political spectrum. In other words, the beef is on, with Democrats seeing it as a necessary means of ensuring transparency, while Republicans view it as a partisan move. Nevertheless, the exclusion of Colorado from the election could have significant implications for Trump's campaign. It could hurt him, y'all. While Colorado is typically a blue state in presidential elections, it still has 9 electoral votes and could be crucial in a close race. Additionally, this may also signal to other states that they too can exclude Trump from their ballots, potentially limiting his overall reach. And you know they want to do that, try to block that boy from getting up in there. However, there is also the possibility that this decision may give Trump more attention and could rally his supporters who have long been known to value his defiant stance against the establishment. He a rebel, y'all. Trump has already responded to the decision, calling it an unconstitutional political weapon. He may use this as another opportunity to portray himself as a candidate who is fighting against the system, rallying his base and attracting more attention from media outlets. You know he's going to use it to his advantage the best he can. Overall, the exclusion of Trump from Colorado's ballot is not an insignificant development in the 2024 election. It's pretty big stuff. It highlights the ongoing tensions between the former president and some states over transparency and could potentially impact his chances of winning. However, it could also fuel his supporters' campaign and draw more media attention to his candidacy. So, as we watch as the 2024 race unfolds, only time will tell how significant the decision ultimately proves to be. In addition to the requirement to disclose his tax returns, the state of Colorado also cited Donald Trump's participation in the January 6 riots at the U.S. Capitol as a reason for his disqualification from the 2024 presidential election ballot. Bro, you can't be out here trying to overthrow the government and be trying to run for office at the same time. The decision was made under a state law that requires candidates to swear they have not committed any treason, perjury, or other felony while holding public office. The law also includes language that candidates must confirm they have not engaged in any behavior or conduct that would constitute a violation of the presidential oath of office. Some legal experts argue that disqualifying Trump based on his participation in the January 6 riots could ignite a constitutional battle. They believe that the state of Colorado may be on shaky ground considering the 14th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution that prohibits states from creating laws that will punish citizens who have engaged in rebellions or insurrections against the U.S. government. That's deep. Trump lawyers are likely to argue that disqualifying him from the presidential election based on his participation in the riots constitutes a form of punishment. On the other hand, the state of Colorado and its supporters will argue that the disqualification of Trump is rooted in an election law requiring candidates to confirm they have not committed treason or other felonies. How you gonna commit crimes in office and expect to be elected to that office again? They may rely on the Supreme Court ruling in Verdict versus Takushi, which allows states to regulate their election process as long as the regulations do not violate the fundamental rights guaranteed in the U.S. Constitution. The legal battle over Trump's disqualification in Colorado is not the first time the courts have been asked to weigh in on election law. It is also likely not the last time we will see such litigation in future elections. Ultimately,
The decision would rest on the interpretation of the Constitution and election law by the court. So Trump got his hands, man. He got a fight on his hands. Excluding Trump from the 2024 presidential ballot in Colorado is likely to spark legal battles that could potentially reach the Supreme Court. You know that man gonna fight. He fight for his life, for real, for real. The state election law cited in the decision requires candidates to swear that they have not committed any felony, and the state of Colorado believes that Trump's involvement in the January 6th riots qualifies as a felony. However, Trump's lawyers are likely to argue that such a disqualification violates the fundamental constitutional right to participate in elections. As this legal battle unfolds, it remains to be seen how will it affect Trump's chances of winning the Republican nomination for 2024 presidential election. That's it for today, man. Y'all let me know in the comments what y'all think about all this.